Due to recent YouTube updates, comments and likes have become more important than ever. I beg you to please consider doing exactly that. I read every comment that you write me and answer whenever possible and or need. I'm also open to suggestions for future content. My videos are created without the use of AI, so please support your fellow human content creator against clanker slop. Thank you. Meetings. Ugh, such a bore. Being Adam, first man to walk the earth, was awesome. His name alone was enough to have most angels drop their knees. Well, nowhere near as satisfying as the thought of getting back at both of his exes, it was a temporary distraction to the darkness gnawing at the back of his mind. Going, whenever the room felt a few seconds too quiet. The other angels were predictable. Being as such, this automatic response was enough to keep them happy. It were just simple politics, such as Angels in the Diligence banner, which consisted mostly of rednecks and conservatives, for obvious reasons, being rude towards angels from the Kindness banner, using language that frankly didn't even belong in heaven. The words Obama-loving libtards were among the less offensive. Adam's gaze slowly drifted over the mass of angels walking and flying through Central. There were a couple hundred angels currently being judged by St. Peter at the gates. There was some spider-looking angel girl eating cake, and he tilted his head ever so slightly. There was one that didn't fit. Everyone was doing something, like rays of sunshine, but there was this single black dot like a dead pixel on a TV screen. A small shape, female, her hands in her pockets, black hoodie pulled up. She had a purple glowing halo above her head, and two wings that weren't attached directly to her back, just floating a few inches from her shoulders. Sure, there were other black-clothed angels walking about, but his eyes just happened to stop at you like that. You had arrived in heaven a few weeks ago, still getting used to things, and St. Peter was unsure to which of the 7 virtues to send you to. So like most non-angel elite inhabitants of heaven's central city, you were awaiting your so-called second coming, which was a second evaluation in an angel court. There was nothing negative. Once a soul arrived at the gates, there was practically a 100% chance you got in immediately, as the so-called long walk on the road to heaven was supposed to be the repentance for any minor sins an angel committed in life. As such, there was no doubt you belonged here. They just didn't know where yet. Not like you cared. In your eyes, you had lived an ordinary life, occasionally pocketing cash from your parents, sure. Skipped class once or twice, definitely. And you 100% pretended every chance you got that you were sick so you didn't have to go to work once becoming an adult. But according to St. Peter, your last action was what put you on the long walk. And what was it? You kicked a sleeping cat out of the way of a speeding vehicle. That's it. Well, according to other angels that were all too chatty about their charity work, not committing grave sins such as murder was already enough to go on the long walk these days. By virtue, no pun intended, of the amount of sins committed these days in the mortal world. Sure, whatever, right? That's how you felt about it, at least. Adam watched you approach a vending machine. You tilted your head. Vending machines in heaven were different than those on earth. They didn't have options, not even a place to put money in, but rather just a plain keyboard, which could be used to order any beverage that wasn't considered sinful. Heck, the only alcohol these things spit out was wine. Though you never were a drinker. Adam narrowed his eyes as he observed you making your selection, and he blinked in positive surprise. Dr. Pepper, he mumbled approvingly. Doctor who? Not Doctor Who, Dr. Pepper! It was in this moment he realized he had spoken out loud. Adam, who's Dr. Pepper? Do you think he can help us with? No, Raphael. He's clearly not listening, muttered another angel. You having a hangover? No. Actually, I'm fine. I took an ibuprofen before getting in here. He brushed the back of his head awkwardly and grinned. I was just thinking that I really need a soda. He didn't even finish saying soda when a cherub appeared next to him with a silver tray and a can of cola on top of it. But the deadpan it received in response was enough to make the cherub tear up. I'm leaving, he muttered disinterested. But, Adam! Yeah, diligence is a bunch of hillbillies and kindness goody two-shoes, I get it, not my problem. He growled, slamming the door behind himself. But the moment he slammed the door, he instantly exhaled. Adam had a lot of benefits. Benefits he had just risked. He could only bail out on these meetings maybe once a month, with repercussions. Well, he cracked his knuckles. He hoped you'd be worth that effort then. Thankfully, his celebrity status was kept in check by the fact that most angels outside the central building were heaven-born. Therefore, they only gave him praise and attention when he desired it. His hands behind his back, he approached the vending machine with you sitting on a nearby bench. His eyes flashed towards you. Now that he saw you up close, he was almost disappointed in himself. The purple halo and detached wings should have been a dead giveaway, though. You were an angel of insignificance. Well, it sounded like an insult, it actually wasn't. Heaven had a more cosmic interpretation of insignificance. As it didn't saw insignificance as the end, no. It's the soil where transformation begins. The seed disappears before becoming something greater. Sure, that was a rather wide way to interpreting it, and to a mere mortal mind this didn't make any sense at all, but heaven was eternal, and being an angel that had personal growth quite literally attached to the angelic archetype was cool in its own way. After ordering his drink, he sat down on the bench next to you, with a heavy sigh. Yo, he said casually. He noticed that your right leg was shaking. What's up? You looked him up and down. You were a recent dead, as such you weren't aware of the fact that this specific angel was Adam, the literal first man to walk on planet Earth. It's too nice, he said with a flat tone. This earned you a smirk from him. This place is too nice, makes me uncomfortable. It was then that you stopped shaking for a moment. The fudge? Now he really looked at him. Aura of truth-telling. Really cool shit, ain't it? Aura of what? Around me, no one can lie. Or, well, it's really difficult. How do I explain it? See it like this. Every word you say around me is its own little saving throw. His smirk then became almost gentle. So, what's the problem with things being nice? Being nice got me here for an instance? Also, this all feels fake. It isn't. It's heaven. How long have you been here, Toots? You deadpanned, but then sighed. You know, you're the first one to call me that up here. Oh, really? You grimaced. Down there is sneered at catcallers and idiots staring at me, but deep down I just was never ready to admit I like the attention. Sure, everyone is nice here, everyone is good, but that also means good is normal and expected. And to me, it doesn't feel right. Okay, I hate that aura of yours now. That outburst got you a genuine laugh from Adam, who used this opportunity to slide in a little closer to you. Adam leaned back on the bench and let his wings settle behind him with a soft rustle. He watched you across the vending machine's glow, the halo above your head pulsing faint lavender in turn. You really think this is all fake, huh? He asked, his voice smooth, enough to cut glass. His tone made you glance up at him, puzzled. Yeah, he said, tapping one shoulder. It's too bright, too clean, too polite. And if I see another cherub, I think I'm going to punch it. Adam smiled as though that exact answer was the one he hoped for. You know, he scoffed almost. Sometimes things become real because you let them stay that way. He paused, letting the words hang above you like the glow of his halo. And sometimes, he leaned forward, you just need someone who doesn't expect perfection. You looked at his face. His wings tucked neatly, undeniable, behind him. Those strangely warm yellow eyes. And a really strong jaw. Someone who sees you, he added quietly. You in his hoodie and jeans with nothing crafted to impress, but everything to prove. Your leg stopped shaking. He watched it carefully, and then asked, Want another soda? You blinked. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. He leaned over to the machine and typed in 2 commands. One for you, one for him. Printed on yours. The cola was unknown to you. The label written in gold script with a random Bible verse curling along its edge. He smirked. You gotta be up here for a while to know the cheat codes. He smirked with a wink, so casual it could have been rehearsed. This shit, that's the good stuff. You can't even get it on Earth. You cracked the can open and took a sip. For a second, you thought it was just plain soda, sharp, fizzy, sweet. But then, its flavor changed. It deepened, adjusting to what you liked in this very moment. The sweetness softened the moment it began to cloy, melting into something rounder, smoother, like caramel stirred with sunlight. It tasted like home, and then like memory, and then like discovery. That's the best way you could put it. Just concepts, not taste. Whatever your heart was missing the most at that very second. Every shallow, swift, small, perfect corrections. A touch of cherry when your thoughts dimmed. Cool vanilla breath when your nerves rose again. You found yourself smiling mid-drink reluctantly, surprised by how good this felt. Adam watched the change in your expression with lazy satisfaction, the corners of his mouth curling upward. Yeah, he said, leaning back against the bench, wings stretched wide enough to catch the light. It's different when you stop expecting things to taste the same forever, huh? You laughed quietly, the sound bubbling up before you could stop it. So, what's your end goal then? You asked, turning the can in your hands. No doubt you're just the angel on my shoulder. I very much doubt you're just an angel sitting on my shoulder. Your gaze drifted to your wings, one feathered white, the other black. It annoyed you how obvious the metaphor here was. Haven't really had no chill when it came to symbolism. Adam's grin widened like you just served him his favorite line on a silver tray. End goal, he echoed, voice dipping into that smooth, practiced rhythm that could have sold sin at a charity auction. I'm flirting because I think you're cute, he said simply. Cute, out of place, sitting here like you didn't get the memo that heaven's supposed to sparkle. He tipped his can towards you in salute. You stand out. I like that. Everyone up here tries too hard to glow. You rolled your eyes, but the heat rising to your face wasn't from embarrassment, it was amusement. Oh, so it's a professional interest, you said, raising your drink and mock toast. Flirting as divine labor, ain't it? He chuckled, leaning closer until his shoulder almost brushed yours. I could make it a full-time ministry if you want, he murmured. You snorted, glancing at him sidelong. Careful, you might convert me. Yeah, wouldn't be the first time, he replied with a smirk, eyes glinting like he knew exactly how to keep you smiling. The air between you grew thinner, lighter, like the whole of heaven had leaned into it to listen. Adam rested one elbow on the back of the bench, his grin still there, but softer now, eyes tracing the curve of your cheek before he caught himself doing it. You looked right back at him, unbothered. It felt good being seen like that. Not as an angel to categorize or a soul to evaluate, but as a person. Someone wanted to know. You really don't give up, do you? You said, voice lowering just a little. Not when I find something with Jason. He answers, tone sliding somewhere between play and promise. Chasing something worth chasing. Yeah, it's probably what got me kicked out of Eden. He thought, and you tilted your head. Maybe I'm just addicted to trouble. He leaned in, breath warm near your ear. Or maybe you're in trouble. You didn't remember who moved first. Maybe you leaned in, maybe you did. Or maybe heaven itself had quietly decided the space between you was unnecessary. One breath, one heartbeat. And then you were close enough to feel the warmth radiating off his skin. His hand rose first, brushing a stray strand of hair from your face before it lingered along your jaw. The touch was surprisingly careful, measured, almost reverent, as though he was reminding himself what softness felt like. Your lips met his halfway, a quiet spark that flared and refused to fade. And it deepened slowly, not desperate. It was like a song that already knew its own rhythm. He tasted faintly of that strange divine cola, sweet, sharp, alive, each second adjusting to something that fit you both better. The sweetness mellowed into warmth, then spice, and you realized even the taste was keeping up with your pulse. Adam tilted his head, pressing closer, and the faint hum of his halo spilled down his body in golden threads of light. They brushed against your skin, the current that made the air shimmer and the bench beneath you creak. Your hands found his shoulders, tracing the hard lines beneath the white fabric, then up to the base of his neck. You could feel the steady beat there, proof that angels, at least this one, still carried something human. He laughed quietly into the kiss when you pulled him a little closer, the sound vibrating between you. It wasn't mocking, it was delight, playful even. You didn't know if it lasted seconds or minutes. Only that stopping felt like waking from something a little too vivid to forget. When Adam finally drew back, his lips hovered just above yours, breath still mingling. His grin was lazy and satisfied, eyes gleaming like he'd just broken a rule and didn't regret it. My place or yours? He purred. Meanwhile, you raised an eyebrow, still catching your breath, smirk threatening to break through. Wow, he said between quiet laughs. So that's how angels kiss, huh? You guys should put that in the Bible. You'd get so many more worshippers like that. Adam's grin widened into something shamelessly proud. He brushed his thumb across your lower lip, tracing where his mouth had been moments ago. And in response to your little Bible comment, he growled, pleased with himself. I guess what question is that? Of course we're going to my place. He purred, eyes glinting as he winked. The walls are thicker. Hey, you reached the end of the video. That makes you part of an exclusive club. Our secret password is Cheap Thrills. Put the secret message in your comment below to tell fellow members you watched the video until the very end. Lastly, before I say goodbye, I would normally shout out my channel members. However, due to losing monetization, I currently do not have access to both channel memberships as well as a list of previous channel members. Nevertheless, I'm eternally grateful to the channel members I used to have, and in the case memberships get reinstated, I hope I'll see you again. Thank you for watching.